Chris has officially become a hurricane. The Category 1 storm is still churning in the Atlantic off the coast of Cape Hatteras.
And we're still seeing rough surf at our beaches thanks to the storm. Meteorologist Jeff Lawson is in now with what to expect from Chris over the next few hours. Jeff.
Well, it's definitely going to continue to cause some problems out there if you're in the water with rip currents, really a significant risk. We're talking about some increased surf. But in general, the storm is not bothering us in terms of the typical stuff you would expect. No clouds from it, not a whole lot of wind. The system, again, well offshore at this point, as the guys and gals have been telling you about. You can see right now, though, the winds, it's moving northeast at 10, and that got it out from under some of the cooler water it had been churning up in its own wake, and as a result, the storm has increased rapidly during the afternoon, now up to 85 miles per hour, sustained with gusts to 105, continuing to strengthen, it looks like, overnight up to around a 100-mile-per-hour storm, and then some slightly cooler water will begin to weaken it, and then it'll rapidly weaken, of course, once it gets up here a little bit more into the really chilly waters of the North Atlantic. Look where it ends up eventually. Of course, here is Ireland, and it's going to be sitting just offshore by next weekend with 40-mile-per-hour winds. So it was named a hurricane, but only at 5 o'clock, a little slower than the Hurricane Center had originally talked about. It had been expected the day before that. Cold front, though, already starting to move. It's going to continue to push Chris harmlessly out to sea. Rough surf, though, and rip current risk will continue. That's what we really have to watch for here in both North Carolina and Virginia. I'll have more on the front and how it changes our current temperatures. That's coming up.
5-year-old boy is hospitalized after police say he shot himself in the wrist. State police tell us it happened this morning on I-64 near Mercury Boulevard in Hampton. Apparently, the boy got himself out of his car seat and grabbed a loaded gun from his mom's purse. Troopers say the woman didn't realize what her son was doing until she heard a loud bang. We're told she drove him to patient first and doctors took him to the hospital. He's stable. Investigators are looking into whether any charges should be filed.
The school safety conversation is heating up in Virginia Beach.
I don't think I'd be truthful if I said we could prevent everything from happening. Schools are a microcosm of our society.
That is Superintendent Dr. Aaron Spence speaking today after getting a set of recommended improvements from the Blue Ribbon Panel. It was created in April after the Parkland, Florida school shooting and several threats against Virginia Beach schools. 13 News Now reporter Allie Weatherton tells us what the panel suggests and what school officials plan to do.
Keeping the doors locked and using the buzzer system at all times, adding more cameras with clear angles, and better training for front desk attendants.
It's evaluating who sits in those seats and making sure that we have highly trained, highly qualified security personnel in those seats.
Those are just a few recommendations from the Blue Ribbon Panel. Since April, the panel, which includes the Virginia Beach Police Department, the Navy, and mental health professionals, has looked at every school in the city.
They can look at things that you see every day, you just don't realize it's there every day. So what we looked at was the buildings from top to bottom, and we made some specific recommendations to the school.
And Dr. Spence says the recommendations from the panel are helpful to keep each and every school secure.
I think our big takeaways were the degree to which people felt that our schools are safe, but also recognize that there's more work we can do. We can always improve.
Another area the panel says needs improvement, mental health resources inside the schools.
We feel like we don't have enough mental health clinicians and behaviorists in our buildings.
The panel noted schools need more resources, programs, and staff focused on behavioral mental health. Dr. Spence agrees.
We're an organization devoted to continuous improvement, and then we've got an opportunity to improve, and we've got great people and great community resources to help us do that.
Dr. Spence says some of the recommendations do cost money, like adding mental health professionals inside the schools. He says it would have to go through the school board and then city council. In Virginia Beach, Allie Weatherton, 13 News Now.
New information tonight about a man accused of trespassing at a Virginia Beach elementary school. He's been convicted and sentenced for the crime. 22-year-old Joseph Miller is set to spend 100 days in jail. He entered the gym at Thalia Elementary School right around the start of the school day back in May. He wasn't armed and there were no kids in the gym at the time. The school was put on lockdown briefly before he was arrested. Miller will also serve 4 years probation.
Violent crime is down in Virginia Beach. That is the word from the police chief who addressed the city council just a couple of hours ago. But questions are looming about safety after someone opened fire at random into a crowd of tourists at the oceanfront over the 4th of July holiday. 8 people were shot. 13 News Now reporter Stephen Graves digs deeper into the city's mid-year crime report.
When Kyle Taylor and his family researched Virginia Beach for a visit, it was one of the first things they saw.
You couldn't really Google anything without, 5 or 6 of the actual links on there, being about the shooting and stuff.
Multiple people injured after those July 4th festivities. Tonight, Police Chief Jim Cervera saying detectives are close to solving the case.
And I'm going to go out on a little bit of a limb and say those leads are extremely strong, and that case is has a high percentage of clearance to it. I'm going to say that we're going to clear that case.
The update came as he briefed City Council on a mid-year crime report, the oceanfront in focus after recent shootings during College Beach weekend and July 4th. But overall, stats show violent crime in the area is down from last year. Aggravated assaults, though, are up 64%. The chief says most involve alcohol and drugs.
These are not cases where folks are in their hotel rooms and are being attacked at will.
And stats actually show aggravated assaults are increasing across the city. Cervera says a change is that most involve guns. So far this year, police have collected about 350 guns as evidence. Now the focus is tackling areas with gun crimes.
We know the oceanfront is one, and we know the western part of the city is our second area.
Also up, vehicle larcenies. The chief says 81 cases actually involve firearms being stolen from vehicles, some that were just unlocked. Reporting in Virginia Beach, Stephen Graves, 13 News Now.
Virginia Beach City Council is also discussing the hotly debated proposed sports center. Council reviewed the project with the city manager just a few hours ago, and right now there's a public hearing on the matter at the City Council meeting. The sports center would go near the convention center and have basketball courts as well as volleyball courts, team rooms, and offices. 13 News Now reporter Chanu Her is at that meeting, and we'll have a full report tonight on 13 News Now at 11.